This past decade, we had some of the greatest video game titles of all time. I'm so glad that I was growing up with these titles, and looking back at it, I really would like to play it again. Here are some of the top 10 greatest games of this decade. Now this game blew away all the other past Metal Gear games, including Metal Gear Solid 3. So much to do in this big land, so much things, so much assigned missions, they're all unique, there's so much variety. The missions, the ways you sneak past people, the ways you could trick your enemies. Honestly, whoever thinks Death Stranding was better than this, you are a fucking retard. Dark Souls is one of the first big games to show gamers that there is no mercy in these video games, and From Software did an amazing job portraying this. It was because of Dark Souls we got games like Bloodborne, which was also from Software. We also got games like Neo, Remnants from the Ashes, and Devil May Cry. Dark Souls is considered to be the godfather of all these games, and now that Dark Souls series is over, From Software is making games that are original and have the same difficulty, if not harder. The story is interesting. It's a story where dragons ruled the land, and wait, let's just have Dark Souls explain it. I don't want to explain it, it's too long.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was...
Alright, this is taking too long. Alright, you got that? Alright, let's move on. This year was a boring year for video games. So for Boxing Day, I decided to get the new SpiderMan, which came out last year. Now SpiderMan is a 15-hour game, which is kinda long, but anyways, I completed that game in 2 days. 2 days! Meaning that I spent a total of 7 hours and 30 minutes playing Spider-Man a day. 33% of my day was playing Spider-Man. The reason why I played this game so much is because this game was so immersive. I felt all the characters' feelings, like I was actually the characters. When certain characters got injured or dead, I felt sad. Web slinging in this game also made me feel like Spider-Man. This game could have been way higher on the list if it weren't for the controls. During combat levels, this game was so unresponsive. Anytime I wanted to counter a guy's punch, I usually would get hit because every time I pressed the counter button, it never worked. And I didn't want to lower my difficulty because I ain't a pussy and I ain't using pussy levels, yeah? Sekiro: Shadow Dies Twice is another game made by From Software. You already know the types of games From Software makes, so I won't go in depth about it. Anyways, you play a character named Wolf. He is a royal shinobi protecting the divine heir. At all costs you must protect her. Anyways, plot twist, your dad that died 15 million years ago, he comes and what's up man guy, you know, dabs each other up, and then he brings up a choice. You could either betray the divine heir or say fuck you and kill him.
You taught me well. That's my boy.
Anyways, I'm not really good at explaining stuff, so here's a little clip of Donkey explaining why this game's good.
If Sekiro was only this one fight against the Guardian Ape, it would still be the best game of 2019, but it also includes a bonus entire video game.
For a game that's almost a decade old, this is one sexy ass game. Super Mario Galaxy 2 exceeded all expectations and was crowned one of the greatest Mario games. Until Super Mario Odyssey surpassed it. This is one good ass game. Uncharted 2 is the best Uncharted game that Naughty Dog has ever made. You know what? It is the best game Naughty Dog has ever made. Here are some of the reactions I had when I played Uncharted 2. Oh my god! I am climbing a train!
Holy shit.
Yeah, you're right there, buddy. Make it stop! Make it stop!
The building is falling. I repeat, the building is collapsing. The building is collapsing.
I wasn't a fan of the God of War franchise, but when this God of War came out, I decided to give it a try. Little did I know this was gonna be my most favorite game of all time. In my opinion, this game was just beautiful. The story was beautiful, the atmosphere was beautiful, the characters, the bosses, even the stories Mimir tells on the boat.
It begins in an ocean of blood.
Finally, a story worth hearing.
This was such a good game I had to platinum it, achieving every single trophy Sony Interactive Studio has made. This game made me even study about Norse mythology. I couldn't even stop playing this game for months, and when New Game Plus came out, you best believe I was playing that days after days. Was my opinion on this game a little bit biased? Yes, but in my opinion this should have been number 1 on the top 10 games of the decade. But there was more better games than this. Walking Dead. It was all a normal day out in the office where Daddy Lee got arrested. He was having a nice talk with the police officer and uh-oh, a zombie came in their way. And that was the first thing that changed the whole game forever. After this, Leah soon met Clementine and they became the closest of friends. Lee was like a father figure to Clementine and has done everything to help Clementine live and prosper and teach her some valuable lessons. And in the later seasons, you could see how Clementine learned from Lee and adapted, and you could see in the final season of Clementine, she transfers all her knowledge that Lee has taught her to AJ. This game soon became a masterpiece, winning multiple game awards, making some people cry in the last episode where Lee gets shot by Clementine, or when Lee gets left alone and turns into a walker. It's Fortnite Battle Royale! No, I'm playing. It's Skyward Sword. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword has been my favorite game for 7 years. I had countless hours played on this game. I've played this game and beaten it nearly 20 times in New Game Plus and in Hero Mode. This was also the best game that had Wii Motion Plus inside. For the number 1 pick, this was either going to be Skyward Sword or Breath of the Wild, but I picked Skyward Sword because of its ranges, the variety, and just all in all experience of the bosses and dungeons. With Breath of the Wild, it lacks the dungeons and bosses. The bosses were so uncreative, and when going to the final boss, it was just another boss that was from all the divine beasts. But with Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, everything was different. Gairaham was a new form of Ganon, and same with Demise. This was the game that started the whole Legend of Zelda series off. This was my first Legend of Zelda game too. And you know what? All the Legend of Zelda games that I've played never disappointed me. Except Triforce Heroes. That was a horrible game. I don't even want to talk about it. But besides that, there was Twilight Princess, A Link Between the Worlds, A Link to the Past, Link's Awakenings, Ocarina of Time. I was going to include all of these in, but these games were way past 2010. Well, that's all for me today. If you guys really liked it, comment if you want, and stay tuned for the next episode. This has been the longest process I had to edit. This was 4 hours worth of clips, and it took me 5 hours to edit this. Please leave a like, man. I need it.